Welcome to Co-Pilot Podcasts. A man gets kicked out of his own faction, and 10 days later he's booked in a match at a major premium live event. A former IWGP heavyweight champion walks into NXT, wins his third match, and is suddenly challenging for the top title. And two former best friends who used the exact same exit clause to leave the same faction are now on a collision course for championship gold. That is the NXT Great American Bash 2026 in a nutshell. Today, we're breaking down all 4 announced matches for June 28, what's at stake, who's got the edge, and what the outcomes could mean for NXT's future. I've got someone here who has been tracking every twist and turn of this storyline, so let's get into it.
The card for this show is genuinely stacked. 4 matches announced so far: the NXT Championship, the NXT Women's Championship, the North American Championship, and a grudge match. And every single one of them has a real story behind it. This isn't just titles being defended for the sake of it.
Before we get into the predictions, let's just set the scene a little. The Great American Bash, how long has this event actually been around?
So according to the Sportster, the Great American Bash debuted in 1985, just months after the very first WrestleMania. So it's been part of wrestling culture for over 4 decades. It was originally headlined by legends like Ric Flair, Sting, Diamond Dallas Page, Randy Savage. These were massive names.
That's wild. So it's almost as old as WrestleMania itself.
Almost exactly. And WWE has been using the name since 2004, though it went unused for a stretch. It was revived in 2020 and has been a staple of the NXT calendar ever since. But 2026 is actually historic for a specific reason.
What makes this one different?
This is the first NXT premium live event to broadcast live on the CW network. According to Sports Illustrated, Shawn Michaels announced that back on June 2. So it's not just another PL, it's a landmark moment for the brand. And it's happening on June 28 at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern.
And for people outside the US, it's on Netflix internationally, right?
Exactly. So the reach is massive. And here's another thing worth noting. June 28 is also the same night as TNA Slammiversary and AEW Forbidden Door, according to Features of Wrestling. So wrestling fans are going to have a lot of decisions to make that night.
That is a loaded night. Okay, so let's get into the actual matches. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the match that has the most raw emotional heat behind it. Saquon Shugars versus Dion Lennox. Because the backstory here is genuinely compelling.
Right, so these two were teammates. Walk me through what happened.
So Shugars and Lennox were both part of Dark State, a faction that also included Osiris Griffin and Cutler James. On May 19, Dark State lost to the Vanity Project, who retained the NXT Tag Team Championships. After that loss, Lennox, Griffin, and James turned on Shugars and kicked him out of the group. According to WrestleTalk, the reason given was that Shugars took the pin in the match.
So they blamed him for the loss and just cut him loose.
Exactly. And Fightful reported that Griffin and James had actually warned the group. They said there needed to be a change if Shugars and Lennox couldn't get on the same page and capture the tag titles. So there was already tension brewing. The excommunication was the boiling point.
And Shugars didn't just walk away quietly.
Not at all. He came back and went after Dark State. And now, per Fightful on June 16, the singles match between Shugars and Lennox is officially locked in for the Great American Bash. This is a straight-up grudge match, no title on the line, just unfinished business.
I love that kind of match on a card. It gives the show texture. Not everything needs a belt attached to it to matter.
Totally. And the personal stakes make it feel real. Shugars was loyal to that group, and they threw him away the moment things got hard. That's the kind of motivation that makes for a great match.
So, who do you think wins that one?
Shugars. The narrative is built around him being wronged, and the payoff is him getting his revenge. Lennox still has Dark State behind him, which could complicate things, but the story points to Shugars coming out on top.
All right, let's move to the North American Championship. Miles Bourne defending against Tavion Heights. And this one has a really unique layer to it.
This is the match I'm most excited about, honestly, because these two have history that goes way deeper than just being opponents. According to Last Word on Pro Wrestling, Bourne and Heights were both members of No Quarter Catch Crew. Bourne joined in September 2023, Heights in June 2024.
And they both left the faction the same way, right? That's the part that gets me.
Yes, and this is where it gets almost poetic. Bourne defeated fellow member Charlie Dempsey in a rounds match, the stipulation being that he had to win to leave the faction. Heights then did the exact same thing the following month, also defeating Dempsey with the same stipulation to earn his own exit. They both used the same door to walk out.
That's a wild detail. So their solo careers literally started the same way.
Mirror images. And then their paths diverged. Bourne went on to win the NXT North American Championship on February 24, 2026 by defeating Ethan Page, ending Page's 273-day title reign according to Last Word on Pro Wrestling. Meanwhile, Heights had failed attempts at both the NXT Speed Championship and the NXT Championship before getting this shot.
So Bourne is thriving, and Heights has been knocking on the door without getting through.
Right. And Heights earned this opportunity on June 16 by defeating Jackson Drake in a #1 contenders match. According to WWE.com, Heights hit his finisher, the Height of Glory, to get the win. But here's the interesting wrinkle. Miles Bourne actually came out during that match and neutralized the Vanity Project, who were interfering on Drake's behalf. So Bourne helped Heights win.
Wait, the champion helped his challenger get the title shot?
He did, which tells you something about where their relationship is right now. They're still friends on some level, but according to Last Word on Pro Wrestling, recent actions by Heights have left Bourne questioning who he really is. So there's a crack forming.
That tension between friendship and competition is such a good story engine. And Heights is described as a former Olympian, which adds another dimension to his character.
Exactly, per WWE.com. And the prediction here, I think Heights wins his first championship. The narrative is set up perfectly. He's been close multiple times, he's facing someone he knows better than anyone, and the emotional stakes are as high as they get. That's championship winning material.
I'm with you on that. Now let's talk about the women's title. Lola Vice defending against Kendall Gray. This one has been building for a while.
This rivalry actually started before Vice even had the title. According to WrestleTalk, on March 31, Vice and Gray went to a draw in a double pinfall during a #1 contenders match for the NXT Women's Championship. So they couldn't even settle it then.
And then they ended up in the same match for the title at Stand and Deliver.
Right. At NXT Stand and Deliver 2026, it was a three-way match. Vice, Gray, and defending champion Jacy Jayne. Vice won by hitting the spinning back fist on Jayne for the pinfall, ending Jayne's 137-day reign, according to Fightful. And Vice made history in the process. She became the first Cuban-American champion in NXT's history.
That's a significant milestone. And Gray was right there in that match and didn't get the win.
Exactly. So Gray has a legitimate argument that she could have been the one to beat Jayne. She earned her rematch by defeating Kalani Jordan on June 9 with the Shades of Gray, according to Features of Wrestling. Gray is also a former Evolve Women's Champion and won the Iron Survivor Challenge in 2025.
So she's not just a challenger, she's got real credentials.
Absolutely. And then on June 16, things got even more interesting. Vice and Gray were actually tag team partners in the main event against Zarya and Kalani Jordan. They won, but after the match, there was a tug of war over the title belt with Jordan, and Gray accidentally blasted Vice with the NXT Women's Championship, according to Sports Illustrated.
Oh, that's messy. So heading into the Great American Bash, Vice is literally walking in with a target on her head, and it was put there by her own challenger.
It adds a layer of psychological tension. And Vice has been dominant since winning the title. The Sportster described her as proving she's the best in NXT right now by beating all comers. But Gray is the one opponent who has never truly been settled.
So what's your call? Does Vice retain, or does Gray finally get her moment?
I think Vice retains. She's been built as the dominant force in the women's division, and the accidental belt shot actually gives Gray a psychological edge going in, which is exactly the kind of thing that makes a champion dig deeper and hold on. Vice retaining keeps her reign meaningful.
That makes sense. And honestly, the story between these two isn't over, regardless of the outcome. Okay, the main event. Naraku versus Tony D'Angelo for the NXT Championship. This is the one that feels the most unpredictable to me.
And it should feel unpredictable, because Naraku's rise has been genuinely unusual. According to Sports Illustrated, he became the #1 contender in just his third televised match on the WWE roster. Third match. That's almost unheard of.
How does someone jump that fast?
Credentials and character. Naraku is the former Evil from New Japan Pro Wrestling. He previously captured the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, according to Features of Wrestling. So he's not a rookie. He's a proven world champion walking into a new environment.
And the character work sounds intense. Purple smoke entrance?
According to the May 12 NXT results coverage, his entrance was shrouded in purple smoke, which instantly established him as a menacing force. And then on June 16, he cut a promo directed at Tony D'Angelo. The WWE.com headline literally read, quote, "Naraku to Tony D'Angelo, evil is coming." That's a statement.
And D'Angelo, how has his title reign been going?
According to Sports Illustrated, D'Angelo's first run with the NXT Championship has been solid. He's had successful defenses over Ethan Page and Cam Hendricks. But the report also noted he's never faced anyone quite like Naraku. And D'Angelo himself acknowledged in that sit-down segment that he knows what Naraku has accomplished and the levels he was willing to stoop to win the top title in Japan.
So D'Angelo is going in with his eyes open. He's not underestimating this guy.
Which is smart. But Naraku's path to the #1 contender spot wasn't entirely clean either. According to Features of Wrestling, Cam Hendricks distracted Mason Rook during the contenders match, which allowed Naraku to capitalize and get the win. So there's already a question mark around how he operates.
Interesting. So the evil is coming thing might not just be a catchphrase, it might be a warning about his methods.
That's exactly the read. And that's why I think Naraku wins the NXT Championship at the Great American Bash. The speed of his push, the pedigree he brings, the character work, it all points to a title change. NXT is clearly investing in him as a top-level act, and the Great American Bash, especially being the first one on the CW, is the perfect stage for a statement moment.
A new champion on the first CW broadcast. That would be a headline.
It would set the tone for everything that comes after. And think about it, NXT has used the Great American Bash to launch careers before. Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Io Sky, Roxanne Perez, JC Jane, they've all had main event moments at this show since its revival, according to Sports Illustrated. Naraku would be the next name on that list.
That's a really compelling lineage to be part of. Okay, so let's just do a quick rundown of your full card predictions before we wrap up.
Sure. Sugars over Lennox in the grudge match, the wronged man gets his revenge. Heights over Bourne for the North American Championship, first title win, emotional payoff. The mirror image story comes full circle. Vice retains the NXT Women's Championship over Gray, dominant reign continues, unfinished business preserved. And Naraku wins the NXT Championship from Tony D'Angelo, new era, new face of the brand.